I want to just zoom out for a minute, and I want to take you off your flow, but I just want to zoom out for a minute. I know you kind of maybe echoed some of this on your stream the other day, talking about the macro markets and everything. But looking at BTC and ETH, the greater crypto market, and then we'll tie PulseChain into it too, to kind of see where it could follow with BTC. But has your stance changed much? And actually, I'll let you fill in the blanks. Not that I know exactly what your stance is, but on how this bull cycle is going to look. You know, you've been on record saying that you think that we could go into 2026 for new all-time highs, or at least the bull market continuing that long for BTC. How do you shape up the rest of this cycle right now for BTC, as well as how will PulseChain kind of move along with that? Just if we go on a 2-3 year scale here.
Yeah, so I gotta give my nod to Sami here with this one, which was that I think that I've been seeing it the same way. It was just nice to hear somebody else say it, which was that the BTC thing is like going to lose a lot of volatility. I think the most bullish thing that's left to happen for Bitcoin is the ETF. And I suppose maybe we could look at this chart, which is like the, let's see here. Pull this one up. Oh yeah, you might have to pull that one up. So this is the there we go. This is when gold ETF was approved in 2003, and then it went on a 420% run in 8 years. That would have us basically up by March of 25 at an $87,000 top, and then a crash, which is basically where Sami's been saying, was like we go up to 80K triple top. It's an effective triple top. Mm-hmm. There's also my friend Ryan, who I streamed with on Sunday, who's been calling for this. He watches this guy named Kush Alameda on Twitter, who talks about this flat top correction, and that this is the middle of the biggest wave, right? And then it's just going to go blow off and into 25, and then that'll end the cycle, which you could be seeing like 120K, 140K, and those are likely as well. I think for me, I think where my head is at right now is more like 80. I think triple top, honestly. I think a triple top, like a slightly marginally higher high, and then run it back down, and then really confuse the market between end of this year and mid next year. And then there's like a final wave that goes into late 25 or 26 that just is like a double bubble top, which would have us basically coming up here to like the 80K range, crashing back down, and then spending some sideways period, and then going up. This here chart that I got in front of you this goes out to 2028, but yeah, hard to. I think if this is going to play out like this, 2024 has to have some sort of a local top in the market. Maybe we hit 80K this year. Maybe we hit 50, we go back to 30, and then it's just like a normal cycle, and then next year we go to 80 and it's over. Or maybe we go up before down, and we go up to like 80 triple top, and then we come back to 30, and then that would really imply that longer extended cycle with a double bubble top going into 26. It's all speculation. I don't have a crystal ball on that. We'll know more. Like, I think the ETF really throws like a wrench in the plans. I don't know how that's going to play out, but if it plays out like gold did, you're basically going to get one chance to sell the peak of the rally within the next 8 years, and then it's sideways for a decade, right? That's what we have to look forward to for Bitcoin, is one final leg up and then sideways for a decade. And then the whole entire market is going to turn over. And you're going to see so many people capitulate out of cryptocurrency over the next decade that it's going to freshen up the market and give it a second wind to push for another 15-year cycle like this, but it's after a decade of sideways. So it's like I'm looking at it on a really long term.
Yeah.
But in terms of this cycle, there's going to be a chance to sell at higher prices on Bitcoin. And I think the amount of money that's going to flow in from institutional interest is going to give altcoins an amazing run. And you know what I'd love to see out of all this during that 10 years of sideways is the RH, PulseChain, and Hex stuff get global adoption and get accepted and completely decouple and decorrelate itself, true DeFi, away from the centralized, institutionalized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff, and just to go off on its own and do its own thing. And maybe it can just overperform the whole decade. kind of like some of the tech stocks did while everything else was down in the 2000s.
That's a really good point, and it's something that's been interesting to me because, if we are starting to see, I mean, the only people really calling for like ridiculous prices on BTC this cycle, like $700,000 by Arthur Hayes, or just some of this other kind of likely maniacal stuff that we're hearing out there. We are seeing less gains with BTC. It's going to continue to diminish over time. But the other thing is too, like, we only all know what we know. We only know the history of this market. We know like the past 15 years. We know the 4-year cycles, the way that they've been, and we look at that as gospel. But we've also seen this as the wild, wild west so far, and that's slowly lessening, over time. We're seeing, like you just said, with PulseChain, just a pack of DeFi there with PulseX and Hex and everything. And legitimate better products being built than in like 2017, obviously. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think there's a huge opportunity for like these real sectors within crypto to break out and be sustainable. We're seeing something like Chainlink as being like the premier oracle, and it's going to put, Polkadot to bed, and, other solutions that were kind of similar to it. So do you think we continue to see more of that? Just more, there's always going to be degen in crypto, but I mean, more, real products that are going to withstand the test of time. And I guess specifically with PulseChain, now that we've looked at the BTC 4-year cycle and where you think it could go, just spitballing it, I mean, where do you think we could see PulseChain go over this cycle anyway, as far as possibly topping out, and how that could kind of go after that? Because I see what you're saying, like it decorrelating being an actual real DeFi option in a land where, like you said, it's going to be more centralized stuff and more corporate money flowing in to kind of ruin the price, volatility of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, to us it's ruined because all the opportunity gets zapped out. But to institutions, they're going to be happy because they're going to get to play with something that has more liquidity, which is what they're accustomed to, but can still do 100, 200% swings in like a 5 or 10 year period, right? So it's fun for them. It's fun for, but for us, I think we're looking for a little more meat on the bone. Yeah, I mean, this was like just ETH on top of PulseChain here. I like I said, I'm looking for like a 50x, maybe 100x off PulseChain. Those are pretty, easy numbers to think of. With adoption rates rising, if DeFi, if people are willing to understand and adopt DeFi and use it, it could start just with social acceptance of PulseChain and Hex as tools that are valuable and here to stay. And what would cement that would be smart whales stepping in. Doesn't have to be a lot of them, just a few of them with really deep pockets to mark up the price of this stuff initially, and then all the other like original users would, like all the ETH guys and all the guys on the other chains, they would come over to play the game. Yeah. So then once that adoption curve starts to tick up, then we could start to see some of these higher prices like penny or 3 cent PulseChain. This is measured against Ether, so it's, I don't know what 4 O's and a 3 would be, but let's see. In dollar terms, there's another thing going on during all this too, guys, which is like the end of the dollar dominance in the world, and there's like this 40-year plan to reduce like dollar exposure from other nation states, and I mean, it's just an interesting time to be alive, really.
That's a word for it. Yeah, I think over the last few years, it's definitely been interesting. But I mean, obviously, we feel like we're in the right place. Like what option, if you are somebody who really wants to make it, in the United States of America right now, over the next decade, over the next 15 years, where else would you rather be? In terms of your investments, where else are you going to put it? There's nowhere else I would rather have it.
I think we also need a bunch of education too, though. I mean, there's a lot of, like you said earlier, there's a lot of degens out there. We need to be more responsible, teach people how to do the limit orders, so we're not wrecking our own prices. With thin liquidity like we have right now, obviously that'll get better as the charts get better as time goes on. We build liquidity, it gets stronger, but we still need to be responsible too and teach people how to set limit orders. when it's not as easy as it is over on Ethereum side, to do it on PulseChain. So, we have to take a little responsibility there too.
Yeah, perfect segue, dude. For me, this is what I do is like I try to educate folks. I would say like generally the stuff I'm doing for like my members and my website is teaching them like the whole platter, like from liquidity providing to how to properly buy and sell. Obviously, set and limit orders is obviously a piece of it, but really it's the tripartite, right? Chain analysis, liquidity provision, and technical analysis, and making that connection for everybody so that they can really understand the market from like a market maker's point of view, so they can see what's going on in the market better. But with that comes with all the technical stuff, like how to use a wallet, how to have good security in a hardware wallet, how to even just use different dApps, what's safe, what's not safe. There's just like, it's such a steep learning curve, and so many folks have lost so much money that it keeps people out of it, I think, with DeFi. Even in the beginning of Pulse, one of the huge limiters in terms of adoption was like not having the bridged in contracts available in public everywhere someone could see them easily. So people were confused, like, oh, is this the real USDC or the fake one? Is this the real DAI from Ethereum or the fake one? Like, I don't know all these contracts. I have to copy and paste in the PulseX, and there's bad UI. There's not like logos on everything, so it's nice and clean. And but what's cool is like with PulseChain is all these new dApps are coming online, and they all have their stuff more ironed out, and everything's it's people are building here, and that's really bullish is how much is being built. So yeah, the education piece is like literally the most important thing. Like I heard a Hex Shark texted me today and was like, I'm going to send this message out to some no coiners. And basically the gist of the message was, this guy put in $175 into this cryptocurrency. He's looking to take out $400,000 in 3 years. Let me know if you want to be a millionaire, if you want $1 million portfolio. And it's like, just that statement alone is so daunting. Like who's going to believe a no coiner off the street, regular Joe kind of guy is going to believe that that's even possible? Like that, there's so much context that's missing, and that's such the wrong approach to get people in. That's just going to run people off. Yeah. Even if they're your friends, like family and friends are the hardest to get it, because most of us are half crazy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's tough. It's a tough sell, but I think funneling people to the right. That's why Richard was so good, was because it's easy for him to talk to a lot of types of personalities for them to understand it in an easy way. Yeah. And so bridging that gap is a huge piece of the puzzle. But technically, foundationally, fundamentally, Hex and Pulse have everything they need to do better than Bitcoin did in terms of price performance. We just need everything else worked out. Like the brash community needs to simmer down. We need more work onboarding folks and teaching them the right tools and education. If we can nail that stuff down, like we already have a movie, and there's a part 2 probably going to come if the price ever goes up. So, right. I mean, we have like a lot of things in place, and I'm that's what makes me bullish. If you're bearish right now, you're just impatient.
Yeah, I agree. This community has done more than any other, actually probably more than most of them combined. The things that we have and the things that we've done, and sponsored a NASCAR, and it wasn't that successful, but now it's in a game. We have a documentary that's out and on several different platforms, about to be more probably, and see it globally. It's just crazy. When you sit back and look at this overall, it's pretty incredible. What we've done in 4 years isn't that long. So
very true. Cool. And I agree with you, Axis, about like wanting the community to calm down. I mean, that's one of those things for now where it's like wish in one hand, shit in the other kind of thing. I don't really know how easily that's going to happen. I think with time, though, as much as everybody is running out of patience, I do think with time that may happen. I mean, these fly-by-night type of people that are, just out for quick gains and everything, they will exit when the time is right. They are exiting when the time is right. And we're seeing it right in front of our eyes.